And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I am so glad that you tuned in this week. We always want to start our segments by thanking our sponsors. So thank you to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and ready to take your call. They could be reached at 631-714-4822. And with us today, I'm not in the studio, unfortunately, but on the phone is Dr. Barbara Lash. How are you?
Rhonda, I am fantastic. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Good. I am I am loving today's show. So you probably know the other guests that I had on so far today. So we had Mike Dempsey, and then we had Alex Lockhart, and we have yourself. We are speaking all about the different professionals that support Super Bowl, right? And the activities and the events and everything that everybody wants to participate in, but it takes somebody like yourself to actually make it happen. So let's start with, tell me a little bit about your background and how it actually led you to being a media and public speaking coach for athletes.
Ooh, I love that question. And by the way, Mike and Alex are amazing.
They are, I know. We're blessed ladies to have friends like them.
I know, right? And for you and I remember the first time we talked, it's like we're kindred spirits. We are both TV girls. Like I spent double-digit years in TV as an anchor, reporter, and TV host. And I'm so blessed that I've been able to transfer those skills to now be a media and public speaking coach for professional athletes and really just helping them shine when they have those opportunities instead of just winging it.
Tell me a little bit about what you do with the athletes. Is it that they're just not prepared to, or they're not confident enough to be able to respond professionally?
Girl, they haven't had the opportunity to build the skill set in most cases. So like if you think of a trajectory of any professional athlete, they're usually identified as being amazingly skilled in that sport at a very young age. So a lot of the effort, time, and energy goes into building their skill set, making them better. And not a lot of time is spent getting in front of the camera. Yet the further they get into that career and the more popular they become, guess what? Here comes a TV camera, and here comes these opportunities to meet and greet. So it's part of it is, yeah, they're shy sometimes, but a lot of it is they just haven't been in that space enough to practice it. So then when they're hitting the main stage, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Then we start to see some of the outages, maybe some of the lack of confidence. So what I get to do, and I'm so blessed to do this, is to take guys through different mock interviews. If we're doing a signature speech, like we really build out that speech. And most importantly, Rhonda, is we pull back the layers. I have found, as a journalist, I'm always in that mode. I find that the more questions I ask and the more layers we pull back, we're able to find those awesome messages and what really drives them. And once we can connect them with their voice at that level, then nobody can take that away from them. So we end up battle testing, which is what I like to call it. We battle test these messages. So there is no audience that they'll be in front of where they don't knock it out of the park comfortably and in their own skin, in their own voice, and in their own style.
I love that. And I know that you don't just spend time working with the professional athlete, but you also take time to work with the spouses and the significant others of these athletes as well. What type of coaching do you provide to them? Is it the same, or do you gear it a little bit differently?
It's a little bit differently, and it's really helping amplify their voices. So, the whole ecosystem of supporting a professional athlete, particularly NFL, that's where I spend most of my time coaching, NFL and NBA. But let's take an NFL player. So he's gone most of the year during the season, and even in the off season, he's preparing to make sure he's on the roster for the next season. I had one NFL wife tell me they crammed their entire a year's worth of family and marriage life into 2 months over the summer. So these ladies are amazing. They're holding the families together. They're supporting this ecosystem, the kids, the husbands, managing the household. But at the same time, they have these amazing journeys and voices and passions. So I often do public speaking training with them or perhaps a branding package where we're really bringing their voice to life and helping them connect the dots, and also doing it in a way that they can share their journeys without compromising their personal family life, but still sharing these obstacles and these amazing ways that they've been able to handle and juggle everything that helps other women who may have a similar path or a different path. So it's really, really super fun supporting these ladies because they're amazing.
I've met so many of the wives over the years, and you always say it takes a good wife, a good woman behind every man, right? So I'm just saying,
That's what my husband says.
The wives are amazing because, it's very similar to military wives. They are gone, right? They're working and they're focused on supporting the family, but they're not necessarily present. So giving a voice for the women and having them have an opportunity to support their communities or get involved with community enrichment, I think is so important. Now, I know what would be, let's just say, the one thing that you wish you could share with every athlete making the transition to speaking or sports commentating? I literally just had this conversation not that long ago with Eric Coleman because I know he's doing a lot right now in that sports commentating space. So what recommendations or what would you be able to really pinpoint in that space?
Well, let's start with commentating in the media space. The biggest thing is take your stories with you. That is where all of the magic happens. Don't forget about the stats, but don't worry so much about stats. They have people in those settings, NFL Network, whatever the case is. They have producers who are responsible for the stats. It's good to know some, but they bring those guys on the show so that they can take us to the locker room, inside the huddle, on the field. So I actually tell my guys, we'll watch a sports broadcast and I'll say, hey, let's pause it at that topic. Let's figure out a story that you have in your arsenal and let's practice that. Let's say it out loud because they want that connection. That's really where their biggest value comes from. And when it comes to public speaking, please don't wing it. I mean, I saw a professional NFL player. He had just retired. So charismatic. By all eyes from the outside looking in, he's got it all to make this huge transition to be in demand in the corporate space when it comes to public speaking. And he had an audience of about 200 people, and he just winged the whole thing. And I thought, because I study audiences too, I feel like communication is my superpower. I'm so grateful for that. But I saw him in that 20 minutes lose an audience. And so all of these people in the room, at least a third of them were decision makers at companies to say, oh, yeah, we want to bring that guy into our company. And he lost us because it wasn't organized. It wasn't organized. So
a lot of times people feel that if they have 20 minutes to speak, that they need the full 20. I'd rather have 10 minutes of full power team behind me and deliver my message strong and then end early, but end on a good note. Not everybody understands that.
Right. You want to take them on a journey, right? And then to really feed into an audience. It's not just speaking, it's listening. It's being intuitive in that moment. So like we said earlier, battle testing those messages, that's the type of coaching that I do. Let's not just get up there and cookie cutter this. Let's make it you so that you're so in tune with you that you can be in tune with your audience. And that's for the wives and significant others too.
I love it. And of course, this all ties into the event that you're doing for the Super Bowl. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea of the Speak Off.
I am so excited.
I'm so excited too.
God dropped this on my heart the week before Thanksgiving. Okay. It just dropped in the week before Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, wow, this is a great idea. I've always wanted to give guys and ladies a platform. I can take them through the coaching. We can do all of that. I can support them in other endeavors. But to create a platform, it just felt like it needed to happen. So it's called the Speak Off. It's going to be an annual event, and it's the Thursday before Super Bowl. I plan to have it in every city that we have a Super Bowl going forward for at least the next 10 years. And it's really just an opportunity to bring NFL players, active and retired, to the stage, and they're going to compete in a couple different categories. And the same competition to happen in the same venue, but they're not competing against each other, guys against the guys, ladies against the ladies, but also giving the wives and significant others a competition platform as well. Really a public speaking platform, but we're making it competitive, and we're going to be able to donate to whoever wins their favorite charity or foundation.
I love it. I'm so excited, and I know that I'll be there covering some of it, so I'll be able to bring back some highlight clips. Maybe we can play them on another show. So again, once again, we are speaking with Dr. Barbara Lash. I know I would love to speak further about the amazing work you do, but unfortunately, due to time, I'm going to have you come back on another episode. Look at that. So with that said, I am looking forward to seeing you in just a few days. Everybody else who's listening, stay tuned. We're bringing on our next guest.